This commenter challenged me to get a win playing cards without variants, and they said it probably wasn't possible, so I had to try it. Still not sure how to add comments to the screen in a way that looks good, by the way, but this is what I came up with. Thanks also to Lufku9, who gave me a full list of cards that don't currently have variants in the game, and it is mostly Series 4 cards, so there is a big move sub-theme here, and also we can pump up Lasher with Toxidoxy and Agony, but that's basically the only combos that we have access to. Kid Omega, by the way, is only being used to destroy Uncle Ben so that we can move Batroc. I got a win against Agatha, but that didn't feel like the best video, so I kept playing, and I did wind up getting a bunch of really close losses where if I just distributed my power slightly differently, I maybe could have won. This loss was particularly devastating, though, as my opponent uses Nico Minoru to turn off Shuri's lab, and I had big plans for the lab. We were using Topaz to move those cards into Attalon, and then using Fanfei to further move those cards into the raft. And if I had Shuri's lab here, we would have won, but it was an incredibly close loss. This was another win where my opponent thought that Scarlet Witch was going to be enough to win them Death's Domain, and then I had a bunch of Affliction for their Iron Man location, so they retreated. One card that I do not have access to, I never opened up Hellion, so I can't play with that, but that is another card without variants that would work well with the move sub-theme, though this was a New York game, so it's kind of like a Hellion game, and my opponent beat me in the White Hot Room, so they have a bunch of extra energy also from Once and Future this game, but I do have a little bit of a plan. I can use Topaz to move cards to move around my Batroc. That was like the biggest build around card in this deck. And now next turn, I can use Mercury to move the Batroc back over into White Hot Room, but also stopping my opponent from moving cards out of that location and into New York. That's how they were planning on opening up some room for themselves on the final turn and having an unpredictable amount of power. And I'll finish off here with a Laufey into New York. I was just making sure that would still give me room, but I will be able to move Topaz into New York on the final turn, which will leap Batroc, and then I can play Fanfei to just barely grab the win in that White Hot Room. My opponent does have a ton of power with all of this extra energy, though, on the final turn, but Shang-Chi is their next play, and that is not going to cut it, and Polymorph hits the absolute lowest of rolls, giving them a White Tiger, so Fanfei is able to grab the win. Subscribe for more Sweet Marvel Snap.